Hello, and welcome to Embracing the Fight. I am Erica Lamar, your digital creator and host. And if you've been with me since January of 2023, you will know that Embracing the Fight is about normalizing the conversation surrounding physical and mental health issues and concerns. Now, that's a mouthful, but why is that important? It's important because it hits each person, each household in a different way. Some people feel like they don't have a voice. Some people feel that they have a voice, but they feel like they're being judged. And then some people just hold on to it, implode. Ask me how I know. Think about the people that have gotten in their cars and driven into a crowd of people that they don't know, or that person or those people that went into a crowd and just started shooting. You don't do those things because you're happy and because you're mentally healthy. You do those things because you have no outlet and no one to speak to. Because imagine if you could talk to a person and you knew that they were going to do something like that, wouldn't you talk to them? Or should I say, wouldn't you listen? Because sometimes they just need a listening ear. And that's why I created Embracing the Fight. When I found out that I had thyroid cancer, this is the second time that I had cancer. And I said, you know what? People need to know that it's okay to talk about what you're going through because when you hold those things in, sometimes it tends to get worse. So if you haven't already, take a moment out to subscribe to Embracing the Fight on YouTube. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and X. However, on Instagram, it's slightly different. It's embracing the fight underscore. Now that I've gotten all the boring stuff out of the way, you'll see that I have a very beautiful guest on screen. And I'm going to allow her this moment to introduce herself. Her name is Brittni Cosgrove. And what I want her to do is tell me a little bit about her and how you came to be on Embracing the Fight.
Thank you so much, Erica. I'm
You're
so happy
welcome.
to be here. So, I'm Brittni. I'm a transformational life and business coach, and I help people step so fully into their power so that you bring what's on your heart. Because I always say, what's on your heart, it's here for a reason. So, let's bring it into this world in a way that feels really authentic, really aligned, really nourishing from the inside out. And I just think that what you're building with this podcast and this platform is just it's so needed. It's so important. These conversations are just so special. And I'm sure this will come up as we chat today, but
Mhm.
working through mental health has been a huge part of my journey and evolution to be where I am. I started struggling with severe anxiety and depression at the age of 5. So I was in kindergarten, really struggling on the inside, while also being part of a family that does not have space and compassion, did not at the time have space and compassion for mental health struggles.
Mhm.
So, through all of that, I learned the art of masking. I struggled with severe perfectionism and just a lot of layers that have helped me become who I am in some of the most amazing ways, and also the ways that I've gotten to grow from.
Mhm.
And none of it has stopped me from being a soul entrepreneur, from creating a business and life that I absolutely love. And something that's really important for me is helping people own their voice, own their vision, and knowing that you are more than any particular circumstance in your life. You have that circumstance and you are more than that. And your voice matters, your vision matters. And so, sorry, that was a long-winded
No, no,
answer.
no,
It's
that's
just such
perfect.
a, yeah, just such a exciting, I'm excited for today's conversation.
And just talking to you, I would have no idea that you dealt with trauma, as a 5-year-old. You think most little kids are just either eating crayons or coloring with them. They're doing one or the other and they're just happy and joyful and running around. But now I understand how you can be such an effective professional and personal coach because you had to go through it, yourself. You think about it, people want proof of concept. They don't want to just listen to somebody that says, hey, this is going to work. They want to know, how you do what you do. So, how did you decide that you wanted to be a professional and personal coach?
Yeah, great question.
Mhm.
It started really back in the 2020 era. So
Mhm.
before that, I was in the corporate management space and was just kind of working to work. I was just trying to climb the ladder, very much achievements and accolades focused, but I was feeling really unfulfilled, really just at a loss. And I felt like every time I'd pour my momentum into a workspace, the rug was pulled underneath me, things weren't working out. And so I ended up leaving my job the week before the shutdown happened in my
Oh,
local
wow.
city. So the timing was intense
Yeah.
and just the biggest blessing in disguise because I was able to enter this kind of empty void of space
Mhm.
with this complete blank slate. So I was really able to start questioning like, what do I want? Where am I going? Like, what is this life? What am I building? I have all this momentum, all this passion. What am I doing with it? So I started my first online business that year and I fell in love with what it takes to be an entrepreneur, what it takes to run a business, and all the things, for the first time in my life, I was pouring into my own ventures.
Right.
Fast forward a few months, that first business was not the end all be all, but I
Mhm.
found the coaching world. And that was when my soul came home to itself. And mind you, at the time I had a lot of thoughts about what I thought coaching was. I thought it
Mhm.
was very fake, very woo-woo, very highlight reel, just not authentic, not truth.
Mhm.
I was so wrong. I was so wrong because when I found out what coaching can actually be, the depth that it is, the transformation that can
Mhm.
happen, my life completely changed. And like I said, it felt like my soul came home to itself.
Mhm.
And for the first time since I was little, I understood why I was so driven and ambitious and I had so much of that career focused energy. And it
Mhm.
was so I could fuel it into this really heart led, soul led business where I just get to help people fall in love with life. And not because of the highlight reels, but fall in love with the full spectrum of what life is, to live life on their terms, to build what's on their heart, whether that's a really conscious leadership in your workspace, whether
Mhm.
you want to start a nonprofit, whether you just want to be a really soul led, present parent. Like
Mhm.
whatever's on your heart, it's here for a reason. And
Mhm.
that's what I get to do is help people step into their power so that they're owning that vision, they're owning what's on their heart, and
Mhm.
then building from there.
I love it. And you know what else I love? You explained exactly why you named this episode Fueled by Ambition. My soul came home. I mean, I absolutely love everything that you said because there are so many people that are walking around that have thoughts, they have ideas, they have feelings, but that inner child in them is telling them, you can't do it. And it's like, oh, let me just keep working for, corporate or for whomever and just keep suffering because it's paying the bills, but it's not paying or feeding, their soul. It's not healing the inner child. And just listening to what you said, it let me know that your inner child was healed because you were able to convince that inner child that nope, anxiety and fear doesn't live here. We are going to coach other people on how to get to a place where they don't deal with fear and anxiety, but they lead with ambition so their soul can come home too. So, how did you do that? How did you get that little inner child, to sit in the chair and say, okay, we got this, let's do this?
It took time, but that inner child work has been the biggest gift to myself. So,
Mhm.
like you said, like when we started out, she's very severe. She did not know how to play. She was incredibly, just very serious, very distrusting of anyone and everyone. And she knew what worked, and she had no interest in exploring other ideas. And what we did was just took that time of meeting her over and over again. Because a
Mhm.
lot of people don't realize, like, the blocks that we show up, which are stemming from the inner child, the
Mhm.
subconscious, like these inner parts of us, they
Mhm.
create these blocks, whether it's procrastination, that self doubt, avoidance. And people see those blocks as being like in the way. But when
Mhm.
you slow it down and really get to the root of it, it's just this little girl that when for me, when I was 6 years old,
Mhm.
I learned from my parents that perfectionism and
Mhm.
being perfect and performing perfectly was how I got love. And
Mhm.
did they ever consciously choose to teach that? And did they ever mean to? Of course not.
Right.
But the little girl, that was what she picked up on, and it got
Mhm.
embedded into the subconscious. So over time, I would just go and start by slowly, like slowing it down, looking at really what is this pattern connected to. So, okay, I have this block. What is it trying to do? Like, how is it trying to serve? So I can use my perfectionist, for example. The
Mhm.
perfectionist would grip onto any project and it would do 99.9% of the work, but it was never good enough, never enough. So it wouldn't put that work out into the world, whether it was a social media post, copy for, anything.
Mhm.
So I took that perfectionist. I was like, okay, what does she want? Like, what is her intention here?
Hmm.
And for her, it's that she wanted just everything to be good. She wanted to put out good work. She wanted to put out high value stuff. She wanted people to really be able to learn and absorb what she was doing. And she just wanted it to be in integrity with her best ability of work.
Hmm.
That's a beautiful intention. Like, I'm here
It
for that.
is.
And so by learning, like, okay, the intention here is just to make sure I feel really good about the work I'm putting out there. So how can I meet that intention without buying into the perfectionist strategy?
Mm.
And so what I did instead was I just leaned into like, let's play a little bit. So I'd have some perfectionist jobs. Those
Mhm.
were usually the really, the analysis, the bookkeeping, like the ones where like, yeah, let's really dot our I's and cross our T's.
Yeah.
And then other work, I'm like, okay, let's play here. So what we're going to do is make sure I feel really good about the value in this content.
Hmm.
Okay, check in with the little one. Little one says, yep, there's value there. That feels good. So it's like, okay, what if
That's
this
it.
is enough? Like, what if this is what is ready? And just by doing that over and over and over again with compassion for myself, with grace for the process,
Mhm.
that little inner child, along with the subconscious, started rewiring into one that understands play is important and understands that, like, that little girl inside of me, she doesn't need to run the show. She doesn't need to be perfect to
Mhm.
have an impact or to receive love or anything along those lines. And so it's really this new way of looking at the different parts of ourselves, including the blocks that come out, but with that compassionate lens, because at the end of the day, we're all adult humans, but it's like we have a little kid running the show on the inside.
We
And so
do.
it's so innocent and so well intentioned. And
Mhm.
all it just takes is some compassion, some kind of questioning, some inquiry, and
Mhm.
then just a compassionate way of up leveling that approach while still meeting that inner need and intention.
Okay. And you know how it all works when it comes to getting people to come to you and actually choose you as their professional or personal coach. You had to do the proof of concept with yourself. But it's always interesting to me to see how you gained your audience. Did you use social media? I mean, how do people find you?
Yeah, I've been pretty off the grid for the last few years. I'm just now moving into more of a consistent online space and presence.
Mhm.
I'm very proud to say that my business has been almost entirely been built by word of mouth and referrals. Like, that's how
Mm.
impactful this work is. So I'll work with someone, they'll bring me in their family, their friends, their coworkers,
Mhm.
just people in their world because they've, and like you said, like, I live my work. It's a very much inner and then outer experience for starting with me.
Mhm.
Then my clients get to experience that. They're feeling the shifts and the transformations, and it's impactful. It's deep, deep work. And as they start stepping into like that power and that their authenticity and really owning who they are, the people in the world start feeling that. They notice the shifts. They notice the peace that's here that didn't used to be here. The
Right.
way that the communication gets up leveled, just the way that they're really embodied and who they are, who they're becoming, what they're creating. And then it just kind of ripples out from there. And then
Okay.
I do a couple, I'll do like a couple events throughout the year that I just
Mhm.
invite anyone and everyone to. And so people get to experience that work firsthand.
Okay.
Um, and it's just special. I'm very much of an experiential based business growth. I want people to
Mhm.
feel what it's like
Mhm.
because it is the best work in the world. It is so worth it. It's not always easy. That,
Mhm.
especially that first year when I was doing my own transformation, I cried more in that year than I had my entire life leading up to it.
Mhm. But it was
It,
necessary.
it was so necessary, so
Mhm.
cathartic and healing.
Mhm.
And it is just the most worthwhile, priceless work that there is. My whole life, from every cell of me, has been transformed because of it. And
Mhm.
like I said, like, it's inner and then outer. So I'm very, very bought into the impact that this work has.
Okay. And you know, it does my heart so, I mean, it gives me so much joy. It does my heart well to see that you have organic growth in, you know, a world of AI. in social media, even though, we love social media because I wouldn't have met you, otherwise, because I'm way down here in Georgia and you're, in Washington. So it's like, how would we have crossed paths? But just imagine, a world where people would really try to grow just by talking, to each other. And you are given a perfect example of that. So I know it's possible. I know it can be done. And I mean, when you say it was difficult the first year, working with yourself, that's always the case because you're your worst critic. You have to live with yourself every day. You can't lie to yourself. So it's like the work that you have to do is totally different than you would with someone else because somebody else, when they sit down to talk to you, they can tell you whatever they want to tell you and then, go on about their business, but you have to sit in it and I can see, the joy in your face and everything that, you're A1. That little inner child in you has become a cheerleader and is shouting and is jumping up and down and it's bringing other people to you. Because once you shine that kind of light, it's kind of hard to dim it. It's kind of hard for people not to say, okay, let me tell you about Brittni. You have this issue going on or that going on. You need to talk to Brittni. And that's, what I get from you. And when I say it does my heart well, it really does my heart well. But
Thank you
you
for
were,
that, Erica.
oh, you're welcome. And you were saying that you've been offline. Do you have a website now? Or, okay,
I
could you
do.
tell us a
So I
little bit
have a
about that?
website. It's
Okay,
brittnicosgrove.com. And
okay,
Brittany's a little different. So it's Brittni. And then Cosgrove is Cosgrove. So you can find me at brittnicosgrove.com. And I do have an Instagram as well. And
okay.
so my 2026 intention is to be more present there. Because right now I post maybe 3 times a year. It's very
Believe me,
offline.
I understand.
And it's kind of that yes and because I love, like you said, there's something different when you connect with people, when they just feel that energy. So I
Mhm,
don't think that that will ever not be in my realm. But
mhm.
there is something powerful about being able to reach people around the world with the online system. And so I guess what I want to name too is there is no one right way. There is no right or wrong within business or entrepreneurship or just living life. And
Mhm.
so for anyone that's listening that feels strongly one way or the other, like follow what lights you up. Follow
Mhm.
what feels exciting for you because just how someone else doesn't mean that you have to do it that way. So
Right.
for any entrepreneurs or startups or just anyone that's in the business realm that's like, oh, I really want to do business, but I don't want to do social media, like it can be a tool, but it is not the only tool out there. So don't let someone else's strategy ever be what stops you or slows you down.
Okay. And with you saying that, that lets me know you have come in contact with all kinds of people and you were able to help them have a mindset shift. Can you give me an example without, using the name of the person or anything like that? Because I know you're a consummate professional and you would do that anyway. But is there an example that you can give of someone that you helped to have that mindset shift to know that, okay, just because there's a McDonald's, that's not the only fast food chain. That's why Burger King came along, Jack in the Box, Cookout, all these places, because if everyone felt the same, we'd only have McDonald's, that sort of thing. So, can you give us an example of someone you helped to have a total mindset shift and they actually started chasing their dream?
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
I work really closely with a nonprofit leader that started a nonprofit a few years ago. And just in this past year, we've seen a lot of growth with it. And this is something that she had on her heart for years that she wanted, that just felt really special, really important. She had experienced it herself and she just wanted to bring that to others.
Mhm.
And so what I've done is help her find like that strategy that feels exciting to her
Mhm.
because it's such a big multifaceted industry space in the nonprofit realm. So I
Mhm.
helped her get really clear on like, okay, so what do you want this to look like? Like what is your like current goals? Let's talk about 5 years down the line. Let's talk about 10 years down the line. Like if all rules were out the window, if you were limitless, like what would this be looking like as you build it? And then I helped her get clear on like, okay, what are the systems that we need in place that feel really good and exciting to you? And so I helped her get really set in with more of a team member style. So she was able to bring in a few directors so that she doesn't have to spend her time, it's like using social media, for example. That was a huge drain on her. She did not like it. Her inner perfectionist was coming out and it was just not, it just wasn't a good fit. So it's like,
Right.
okay, so is it true? Like, do you have to be the one that does this? Like, what would it feel
Right.
like to delegate that? So I helped coach her into a space where she felt comfortable giving the reins off to someone else who does love that, who went to college for that, who that's where they get excitement from. So it's like, okay, so now we're fitting this person to where they need. So for her, I was like, okay, let's get really clear on like, what are your values? Like, where do you see yourself in this org chart? Where do you want to be involved in? Where do we need to work on helping you let go? And so then just step by step, there was this building out of a team around her,
Mhm.
which was also a huge coaching opportunity because this is someone that has, a hard time asking for help and asking for that support. And so along the way, I was just helping to reset that mindset into one of normalizing what it takes to start something so big,
Mhm.
um, the mindset around what does it mean to lead a team and what does it mean to have like a team of volunteers, a paid team, like just really getting to the nitty gritty of what it takes to like who does she need to embody to lead that, and then helping her step into this mindset and framework of holding the vision and really stepping into her own leadership within the organization as a whole, because no one will believe your vision more than you will. So that was kind of a high level overview of just a couple
Oh,
of
that's good.
pieces that went into it.
Mhm. That's extremely comprehensive. But what if let's just take a scenario. Say you have a solopreneur that did like you did, that said, okay, I'm taking this leap of faith, but they know that they're going to have to do everything in the beginning because say they have no cash flow, they have nothing, they just have this dream and they're like, okay, I have to do this in a year or I'm gonna fail. And they put all these things on themselves saying, you know what, I got this goal, this goal, this goal. If I don't hit these things within this amount of time, that means I just gotta let it go. How would you get them to see that success doesn't always happen overnight, even though you see people that, do have that type of success? How would you tell that solopreneur that if this is what you're truly, what's truly fueling your ambition, that's truly bringing your soul home, how do you tell them to keep fighting, to keep going towards it?
Yeah. Oh, this is so good. Because I
Mhm.
see a couple of different directions that I would take it. So one is really helping them build up their vision and values around it. So really helping them feel that energy, really owning it. But
Mhm.
then on the more inner side, it's like there's kind of twofold. So I see comparison,
Mhm.
because they're like looking, oh, like that person has overnight success, or looking at what others are doing and comparing their speed of their journey to
Mhm.
others, which is
Mhm.
a lot of times why we feel that pressure. It's like, oh, I'm not going fast enough. I don't have enough. I'm not where I should be. It's not because of any actual metrics. It's because
Mhm.
we're looking outside at what everyone else is doing and unconsciously comparing what we see from them. And I say that specifically because it's not actually their truth and whole experience.
Right.
We're only seeing what they share, whether it's on social media, whether it's in person. A
Mhm.
lot of the times, if not most of the time, people are sharing the highlights, the exciting parts, the good news,
Yep.
and they're keeping inside all the work that goes up to it. Like
Mhm.
someone that has a really quick line to success. Like let's all also take a moment to define what does success mean for us individually. Because
Right.
success to someone might mean a lot of money.
Yes.
Success to another person is going to mean a lot of time. So it's
Mhm.
like also really getting clear on like, are you even comparing someone whose success is what you want? Is
Mhm.
their success definition the same as yours?
Mhm.
And even if it is, it's like, can we ever truly know what someone else is doing, what someone else has put down behind the scenes, what's going on internally for them? It's
Mhm.
like we can
Okay.
never truly know that.
Mhm.
And so then we start like saying, okay, if I can't truly know that, what else could be true? Maybe they've been doing this on the side for 10 years and decided to do a 1 month intensive with the coach themselves and they were able to skyrocket.
Mhm.
Maybe they just received an inheritance and they were able to fund something that we have
Mhm.
no, like there's so many other things that could be happening
Mhm.
that we never truly know.
Mhm.
And then I also am curious too, like there's the subconscious part where it's like, what? Like, what is this fear around not going fast enough or not being where they think there should be? Um, like something I might ask. And for anyone that's feeling any type of timeline pressure
Mhm.
or that does that kind of fear-based push to perform in any way,
Mhm.
it's like one fear I have of not being further along is and just seeing what naturally comes up, which was,
Mhm.
and when we ask leading questions like that, it gives our subconscious a moment to provide an answer because the
Mhm.
subconscious is really, it's running the majority of the show. It is in charge of a lot if you are
Mhm.
not aware of it. So it's like when we can get clear on like, what is the subconscious making it mean that I'm not further along or
Right.
that I'm not hitting the numbers that they are? Like, what is the subconscious creating a link between? Is it saying like, oh, if I don't hit this number, like, yeah, I literally will be homeless and could die? Like, is it something that's so hyper dramatic in that?
Right.
Or is it something like, if I don't hit those metrics, I'm not good enough and therefore no one will love me? Like, it's going to be something not pleasant is going to be the fear. And if we slow it down and again, just question like, is it true? Is my performance actually linked to how lovable I am? Is it actually linked to what I can read? And
So good.
just by noting and finding out like what is the subconscious or inner child believing, and then slowing it down to be like, okay, is this true? Could I
Mhm.
prove it in a court of law that this is true? And then when we can see that it's not black and white truth. It's like,
Right.
okay, what else can be true?
Mhm. That that is so good because you think about when you're on social media, you'll see people driving these Lamborghinis and all this stuff, and then like I can't remember who the lady was, but she looked like she was making a whole lot of money, and then all of a sudden she was getting problems for tax evasion. She had rented all these houses and cars to make it look like it was hers, like she had experienced this major success. Now she had success, but it wasn't to the level that she was trying to portray, and it got her in a lot of trouble. So, based off of what you're saying, is as long as the person is being their authentic and genuine self, and they keep pushing forward, then eventually, if they keep pushing, they keep believing, keep working, they're going to reach what they're trying to reach. But if they have, I heard this loud and clear, say if they had a deep dive with a professional or personal coach, it could help speed up their trajectory, or it could potentially move them, I shouldn't say speed up their trajectory. It could help them really focus and move further along than they would just using what they know.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's kind of like a liken it to if you were to go to the gym
Hmm.
twice a week on your own
Hmm.
for a year versus hiring a personal trainer going to the gym 5 days a week for 3 months.
Hmm.
The intentions can be the same. There's nothing wrong with the goals on either side, but one is going to be a container of support and intensity and something to hold you to carry you through your own patterns, your own doubts, your own human experience
Hmm.
versus a system that you're on your own to hold, that it's only up to you to show up within. You don't have the external cheerleader there. You don't have the external person to ask questions to get
Hmm.
feedback from, or to see what you can't see for yourself. And
Right.
there's nothing wrong with either path, but
Hmm.
one path will lead to quicker results.
Hmm.
And I know this also like from firsthand experience. Like I think yeah, it's something where I'm trying to think of like another good example. It's like the more we practice anything,
Hmm.
the quicker we'll become at being better at it.
Hmm.
Like when I was
Like
little, I
playing the
played the
piano.
piano.
Mhm.
Yeah. Exactly. If you
Mhm.
practice once a week, you will see different results than someone that practices every single day. And
Mhm.
again, I'm not here to make anything right or wrong. It's
Right.
more just like strategy and neutral feedback.
Mhm. And see
And it's
that
kind of
you
like,
you
how
gave
much do you
some
want it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you gave great examples because I could see myself in the gym going twice a week, and I'm sitting here going, okay, I get on the treadmill, I get on the stairmaster. But if I had a personal trainer, he's like, okay, come on over here, we're gonna do some squats, weighted squats, and we're gonna do this circuit. We're gonna do. Sure, yeah, I'm going to the gym by myself, but when they know the muscle groups and everything that I'm working on, of course, I'm going to see, the results much, much, much quicker. And same thing with personal and professional coach. It's like the people themselves, they know like, okay, I know the right thing to do, but am I going to do that? Am I going to step outside of my comfort zone? So that's the question. How do you get people to step outside of their comfort zone? Like, say, for instance, I met a person that has been in IT for like 35 years. He absolutely hates the company he works for. He knows IT inside and out. He's run departments, he's done everything. So I said, hey, why don't you start your own, IT business? And he was like, oh no, no way, no way, I would fail. And it's like, wait a minute, why would you fail? It's like you realize you're saving this company millions of dollars because you're providing everything to them in-house. Why wouldn't you go out and try to farm this out to other people because you know that it works and this is what you've done for the majority of your life? Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you do that? So how do you get people to realize that and step outside of their comfort zone?
Oh, so good.
Mhm,
So again, there's kind of two sides of the same coin.
mhm,
Your why has to be strong enough to outweigh everything else. So it's
mhm,
not even just the what, but it's like, why do you want what you want?
mhm,
And I'll do this with clients, and I'll do it anytime I start with someone, but then even like throughout a container, like I'll do it checking in with them. I do it myself like once a quarter-ish,
mhm,
just to check in. So like take the goal or just the desire. Like so starting my own business.
mhm,
Like, why do I want that?
mhm,
And you'll get like a 1 to 2 sentence answer. And then you ask yourself, like, why do I want that? Referring to that first answer. And you'll
mhm,
get another few sentences. And you'll just keep going saying, why do I want that? And do this at least 5 rounds to really get to that deeper, deeper root of your core why.
mhm,
Let's really come to like, why is your soul bought into this thing?
mhm.
Because at the end of the day, like life will life, and it would be a lot more
It will.
convenient and a lot easier in some ways to
Mhm,
just stay in your own company and work the 9 to 5 and get the consistent paycheck and not have to think like, well, how can I build, else can I do? Like there's a lot of convenience in that.
mhm,
So your why has to outweigh everything else on top of all of the subconscious and life programming that you've received up until that point.
mhm,
Sure that why, that vision is so important to you
mhm,
that like you feel it in your heart, like this is for me.
mhm,
And then on the other side, it's like, how uncomfortable does your current life need to be for you to finally make the change?
mhm,
What is the cost of staying where you are? Like, what is the cost of not going out and starting your own business? You're not in charge of your own time. Maybe it's the stress and the pressure that you feel from your bosses. You're having to work weekends and holidays. You don't get to see your family enough. Like, what is that cost of staying where you are?
mhm,
And sometimes it takes like getting so real with how unhappy and how uncomfortable you are.
mhm,
It's there's this story I heard early on in my own coaching experience where these two farmers are sitting on their porch and they've got a dog, one of their dogs is laying between them, and they're just chit-chatting, and the dog's whining and kind of crying out every so often, but she doesn't move. And finally one of them asks the dog's owner, he says, why is your dog crying? Like, what's wrong with her? And he says, oh, she's laying on a nail. And the farmer says, like, well, why is she laying on a nail? And the first farmer says, because she hasn't gotten uncomfortable enough to move yet. And that has always stood out to me because until that did, and that's why I think a lot of entrepreneurs and just leaders in the world, like we all have a rock bottom moment.
mhm,
Everyone, and it's all going to be different and there's going to be different components, but everyone hits that point, that breaking point where you're like, I cannot, will not do this anymore.
mhm,
Something's got to change. What can I change? So it's kind of that twofold side. It's like you got to be honest with how uncomfortable
Hmm.
you are with where you are right now. And you have to really, like, you have to buy into your vision more than anything else in life.
Okay. So with all that, all coaches are not the same, professional, personal coaches. If you were to give someone advice on how to select the coach that could help them the most, what would you tell them to do? What would you tell them to ask?
Ooh, so good.
Mhm,
So good. I think what comes through to me is being able to experience what their coaching is like. Because, like you said, every single coach is different.
mhm,
And one thing I do right now is I work with students in a training program, the same one I got certified through. So I work with students throughout the whole year. So
mhm,
I'm witnessing both from my own firsthand experience, but then also what I see in students. Like they're all being trained throughout the same methodology. We've all been trained. We all have the same tools, the same um, yeah, the same structure of what we learn. And every single one of us has a different flavor and a
mhm,
unique tones and the different things that stand out. So let that be exciting. Like there's a full spectrum, which means like there's fantastic fits no matter who you are, what you're looking for, how you operate. So when you go and you meet with a coach, like see if you can experience what their coaching is like. Most coaches, many coaches offer a complimentary session, a discovery call, something like that. So that then you're really getting to have that firsthand experience of how they hold a session. What is their energy that they bring in? Do you feel safe and comfortable to open up to them?
mhm,
Does the room that they support help you feel supported in going within and looking at some vulnerable things and being vulnerable in front of someone else?
mhm,
And are they like, yeah, are they at least as bought into your vision for you as you are? Like I tell this to my clients, like I see
true.
your vision for you so fully so that
Mhm,
anytime you doubt, anytime a pattern comes up, like anytime you start letting go of the vision, like I will hold that for you because I see it for you. So you want someone that's like that full on cheerleader for you. And then I think on a more like strategic side,
mhm,
it's important to have a wide tool belt. So
mhm,
I can work with people on their mindset, emotional mastery. I work a lot in the subconscious realm with behaviors and strategy, the somatic work. So whether it's breath work or just body tracking, like find someone that can meet you where you're at anytime you are wherever you are.
mhm,
So what I mean by that is you can have like one block
mhm,
and maybe the mindset isn't getting to the root of it. Maybe somatic work isn't getting to the root of it, but
mhm,
inner child work will. But
mhm,
then you'll have a different block and mindset actually got straight through and you're able to get into the subconscious.
mhm,
So it's like if you have someone that can hold you in different ways, depending on what you need most,
mhm,
then you just get to be the client. You just get to receive support.
mhm.
There isn't this question of like, can you help me in this? It's like they've just got you.
That man, that is great because I'll just be honest. I have had coaches. I've been to a couple of like mental health counselors in my
Mhm.
life for certain things. Like when I was going through a divorce, I went and I talked to a counselor for that because that was one of the worst times. But then I realized that that counselor I was going to wasn't helpful for me because it was almost like she wanted me to stay there. Even after I told her about the violence and all the other things, she was like, "Oh no, you can make it through." I'm like, "Ma'am, do you not hear what I'm saying to you?" Like some days I fear for my life. Like, what is wrong with you? Why would I stay there? And a lot of people will stay somewhere just because that's where they went and they feel comfortable. They feel like, oh, I've already told one person, I don't want to tell anybody else. But based off what you're saying, it seems like you can sample. And then once you feel that fit, you stay with whomever that is. And that's really good advice. That's really good. So,
Absolutely. Like shop around, like find that one that feels good, feels exciting.
mhm,
And that just kind of reminded me of something that I think is really so this is my biased opinion of what makes a powerful coach. Is
mhm,
like they're not here to give you the answers.
mhm,
A powerful coach is going to ask you the questions so that
mhm.
you're unlocking your own answers.
Yeah.
And so I just want to offer that too, because I think that that's a really important distinction.
Mhm,
Because at the end of the day, it's like we all already know
mhm,
what feels best to us.
Right.
Sometimes there's just too much mind clutter, too much external clutter, like there's too much. And
Mhm.
so finding someone that can help you really go within to unlock what's true for you is really important.
Yeah,
And if anyone, yeah, if there's a coach that has a, yeah, again, in my opinion, if there's a coach that has a problem with you trying out different coaches or sampling to find what feels best for you,
Mhm.
that's a them thing. Like that's not on you. Like you have every right
Yes.
to like find what truly feels most supportive to you.
Okay. And I'm curious, have you authored any books or anything that you want to share that you want the listeners to check out or look for or listen to?
As of right now, a book is, we're going to say gently in the works. So that's going to be a TBA.
Okay.
Really, right now, what's most exciting to me is I have a group community that I hold. It's called Eudaimonia Embodied. And eudaimonia is this ancient Greek philosophy kind of around finding full fulfillment in life by nourishing each area of life.
Okay.
And so it's bringing together people from all walks of life who are just here to show up so fully for themselves, for that vision of theirs, and to create a community of like minded, like hearted people so
Mhm.
that as waters rise, all ships rise.
Okay.
Outside of that, I love to guest on podcasts. I think that's really special to my heart because that's how I found the coaching world, is I was listening to a podcast. And so it's always, I just, and anyone listening to this and you listen, like you can hear my passion when I chat
Yes,
about it. I love talking
absolutely.
about this work.
Mhm.
Um, and then I offer a quarterly event called the Radiant Roadmap. And so that's a two-part event that's one of those things I was saying is free to anyone. So if this feels inspiring or you want to kind of check out what that's like, I have one in January. And like I said, that's on a quarterly basis, and you can find out when the next one is on my website.
Okay. And the eudaimonia embodied, how, if I say I want to become a part of that, how do I do that?
Yeah, so we would hop on a call
Mhm.
and I would just kind of again like let you experience what my coaching is like to make sure it
Mhm.
feels good and feels supportive. And
Mhm.
then I would check in on like what are you building? What are you creating right now? We'll do some coaching live on that call to just support you on that.
Mhm.
And if it feels like a good fit for both of us, then I introduce you to the community. I have cohorts open every other month. So it's kind of there's always one coming up, even if like this isn't there's always one coming up.
Okay.
And yeah, from there it's just there's live coaching calls, you get one-on-one coaching, you get to have small group calls with like an accountability pod. Like it's really all encompassing, and it's just a really powerful soul felt community.
Okay.
And yeah.
All right. So, is there anything else that you would like for the listeners to know about you, ways to contact you other than BrittniCosgrove.com and everyone? She spells her name BrittniCosgrove.com.
I guess the last thing I want to say is that I really want people to hear two things. That success truly is on your terms. Like, find what that means to you and just hear, even if it doesn't feel true, like, hear me say, like, it's possible. Not only possible, it's possible for you, and that your voice matters, your vision matters. The world is asking for that thing that's on your heart or that nudge that you're feeling. The world is asking for you to bring it to life. So listen to that, follow that nudge, follow what lights you up. It's the most, it's a wild ride. It is not
Mhm.
easy, but it is priceless. So that's just what I want to leave listeners with. And yeah, come say hi. I would love to hear like any takeaways or anything that stands out. I guess actually I do have something called the transformation table. I offer this throughout the week, which is free small group coaching. So if you have like if you're in those early stages or you just want to look at a little bit of strategy or really anything that's present, you can
Mhm.
hop onto one of the transformation tables and get live coaching there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's
That's
pretty much
cool.
all.
Okay. I mean, I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation because you have me thinking about all kinds of stuff because I've written some books. I've written two, but I haven't published. I have copyrights for them, but I
Erica,
didn't publish them.
2026.
Yes, yes. I actually am going to do some things with it this week. So
Yes,
so
that's
I'll
so
be sending you a
exciting.
message saying, but I have thoroughly enjoyed you being on the show, you being so open, so honest, and you make me want to sign. I need to go ahead and sign up for, a session with you. So after we get off here, I'll go ahead and do that. But anyone who's out there listening, you can see, the joy that she presents, and it's just like bubbling over. You hardly ever meet anyone that you can feel, the aura. You can feel their spirit, through the screen. So this is what I'm getting from Brittni, and I pray that as you are watching this episode, you are getting it as well. So again, thank you so much, Brittni, for taking time out to be on Embracing the Fight, to tell us about, professional and personal coaching, but also telling us how your ambition was fueled so much so that your soul felt like it came home. I mean, that in itself is amazing to me. I want my soul to come home, so I'll be definitely setting up a call with you. All right. And to anyone who's out there listening, if you are ready to be fueled by ambition and your soul to come home, you need to set up a call with Brittni as well. All right. So thank you all for taking time out to watch this episode of Embracing the Fight. And as always, I want you all to have an absolutely amazing day.